Good evening, Blackwood Insomniacs. It's your local ghost storyteller here, Allie Clifford. If you're still awake, you're in the right place. I sadly have no update on Harper. She has been missing for 9 days and we can't find any trace of her. So many people have sent in their videos and photos from the 27th of February. The police say they are doing what they can, which is a frustrating response in my opinion. Harper's parents practically live at the police station now. They are constantly on their backs. The police try to reassure them they are doing everything they can to find Harper, but the Reeds, knowing about the other girls who have gone missing, don't really believe them. Harper's parents, the Reeds, are rocks. I feel like falling apart, and this is for someone I've only known for a few months. That's how special Harper is. She is their only child, and they are out putting up posters, organizing searches, getting media out here from bigger cities. They didn't tell me in so many words, but it sounds like that made the school and police very nervous. The school set them up with free accommodation. The school cafeteria makes all their meals, and the Reeds have been in touch with Payton and Cameron's parents, trying to get them out here too when the news reporters come. Their goal is to get enough eyes on the missing girls so the FBI will get involved, because why are there so many missing people and no answers or sign of them anywhere? So I beg you all, please share Harper's case with every person you know, every relative, so the country will have no choice but to come and investigate what is going on at Ravenbrook and Blackwood University. I am recording this in a hurry, so I will not be reading comments from the last episode. I will also be batch recording episodes, just reading the story. No updates or comments because I need to put the channel on the back burner for a bit so I can be as present as possible in helping find Harper and spread awareness about her and the other girls. I don't know how many episodes will be pre-recorded like this. Maybe I won't need to use them at all because Harper will be home. One last thing, I found these stories in a different folder from Alex's research stories, so these might all be original Alex Clifford ghost stories and not based on a legend or rumor. Thanks again to everyone for your support. Enjoy the story. The Last Call. If you are a student at Blackwood, you already know this. You do not walk alone at night. Not because the campus is especially dangerous, not in any way you could point to on a map or explain to your parents. It is just understood. You walk with someone or you call someone and you keep them on the line until your key is in the door and the lock has turned and you are inside. Campus security will tell you the same thing. It is practically printed in the orientation handbook. Stay on the phone, keep talking, let someone know where you are. It is good advice. Sensible advice. It is advice that was first given, according to the older students, because of what happened at the communications building. The communications building sits at the north end of campus, past the faculty parking lot, where the path curves around and the trees press in close enough that the overhead lights barely reach the ground. It has been closed for a long time, longer than most current students have been alive. The university uses the radio tower that sits behind it, but the building itself is shuttered. The windows are dark. The door is padlocked. There is a sign that says Orsized personnel only, and beneath it, someone has scratched into the paint with something sharp. Don't answer. No one knows who wrote it. Most students assume it is a prank. Most students do not think about it very much at all. The student at the center of this story was not by nature a superstitious person. He was a third year, quiet, methodical, the kind of person who stayed in the library until it closed and then stayed in the 24-hour study room until it almost closed. He noticed things, not in a dramatic way. Just the way some people are wired, a detail snagged on something in his mind and sat there until he understood it. He had heard the rumor, the way everyone eventually hears it at Blackwood, that if your phone rings from an unknown number after 3 in the morning, you should not answer it, because it is not for you. He had heard it the way you hear most things passed between students in a hallway or over a late dinner, half listening, almost interested, already moving on. He didn't think much of it, other than just another ghost story at Blackwood. The first call came on an ordinary night. He was at his desk. It was late, well past 3. He had not slept. His phone lit up on the table beside him, screen glowing against the dark, and the display read, "Unknown caller." He stared at it through 3 full rings. He did not answer. Not because of the rumor. He had barely remembered the rumor. He did not answer because he was in the middle of something, and he never answered unknown calls. The call ended. He went back to work. He forgot about it almost immediately. The second call came the following night. Same time, same unknown caller, same 3 rings before the silence. This time he picked up his phone after it had stopped, stared at the number. Who would call this late? He told himself it was nothing. Spam. A misdial. He went to sleep with his phone face down. The third night he answered. Static. The dense layered static of a bad connection, the kind that sounds almost like breathing or like wind moving through something enclosed and dark, and then beneath it, a voice, a girl's voice. Very quiet, very frightened. Please don't hang up. The line cut. He sat completely still for a long moment. Then he called the number back. Nothing. Not a tone, not a recorded message, not even the mechanical courtesy of a line that tells you the number does not exist. Just silence, and then the soft click of a connection that had never properly opened, closing itself again. He put his phone down. He did not sleep. She called again the next night. And the night after that, and every night after that, at the same hour, from the same unknown number. Each time she said a little more. Not in sequence, not in the way of someone telling a story from beginning to end. More like someone calling from a place where time had gone strange. Fragments, pieces of something that only gradually assembled itself into a shape he could make sense of. Some nights, she only managed a few words before the line went bad. I can't find the exit. Some nights, she was calmer, almost conversational, as though she had been waiting for him to pick up, and now that he had, she could be reasonable about it. The lights keep going off. All of them. Every time I find one that's still working, it goes off. Some nights she was not calm at all. There's someone behind me. I can hear footsteps, but every time I turn around, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I've looked. I keep looking. And the line would go dead. And he would sit in the dark of his room, phone still in his hand, waiting for his heartbeat to slow down. He told himself on the rational nights that it was a prank, an elaborate one, impressively sustained. Someone had gone to a great deal of trouble to call him every night at the same time from a number that could not be traced and construct an increasingly detailed and coherent performance of someone who was trapped and frightened and slowly losing hope. He told himself this with conviction. He repeated it to himself like something he was trying to memorize, and then she said her full name. He found her in the university records the next morning. It took him longer than it should have. The filing system for that period was inconsistent, some of it digitized, some of it still in physical folders in the administrative annex, cross-referenced badly or not at all. But her name was there. Her photograph was there. A freshman enrolled in the year the communications building was still in use. Declared missing in the third week of the winter semester. Last known location, the communications building. She had been working late, alone, finishing a project that required equipment only available there. Last known phone activity, one call, placed after 3 in the morning, to campus security. The call had not connected. The line had rung out. Campus security had no record of receiving it, which meant it had failed somewhere between her phone and the receiver. A dead zone. A technical fault. Something routine and minor that had, on that particular night, mattered enormously. When they found her phone, the battery was dead, completely drained. No charge, no power, not even a flicker of residual life. There had never been another call. No voicemail, no follow-up attempt. No record of her number contacting anyone or anything after that night. Until he tried to stop answering. He made it 4 nights. On the 5th night he picked up, and the line was so clear it almost sounded like she was in the room with him. And she said, very quietly, as though she had rehearsed it because she wasn't sure she'd have time to finish, "Can you tell my mom I tried? I need her to know I tried." She had told him enough, piece by piece, over all those nights. She had told him enough. The lights going off, the footsteps behind her. She couldn't find the exit. She had been calling for so long, and no one had come. And she had mentioned, once, only once, in a fragment so brief he had almost missed it, the sound of something beneath her, a deep, resonant hum, the kind that comes from old machinery settling in the dark, the kind that comes from elevator shafts. He went at night. He would not have been able to explain, afterward, why he thought that was the right decision. In the light of day, with coffee and other people nearby, it would not have seemed like wisdom. But in the logic of those weeks, in the rhythm of calls after 3 and voices in the static, it felt correct. She had only ever called at night. Whatever connection existed between them existed in the dark. His phone rang the moment he stepped off the path. Not unknown caller this time. Just ringing. Continuous, patient, unhurried ringing, as though the phone was not so much trying to reach him as it was guiding him. He followed it with the screen light and his own heartbeat and the absolute silence of the campus at that hour, when even the forest seemed to be holding its breath. The ringing got louder as he rounded the faculty lot, louder still as he crossed toward the building. He stopped at the padlocked door. The ringing was very loud now. The sound of it seemed to vibrate in his back teeth, and then, between one step and the next, it cut off completely. The silence was worse. He stood still. Let his ears adjust, let his breathing settle, and then he heard it, very faint, from somewhere below him and to his left, the deep, mechanical hum she had described. Old machinery, old metal, something that had been settling in the dark for a very long time. He called campus security from where he was standing. He stayed on the line while they came. He pointed to the place where the hum seemed loudest, beneath a section of the building's north face, where the ground sloped slightly and the old elevator access had been sealed over with concrete so long ago that the concrete had begun to crack along its edges. He told them to dig there. They found her 3 days later when the university finally authorized the excavation. She was in the elevator shaft. The elevator had failed, an old mechanism, poorly maintained, improperly decommissioned, and the shaft had become a drop, and she had gone into it in the dark, in a building where all the lights had gone off, and no one had come, and her call had not connected, and eventually the cold had done what the fall hadn't. Her phone was beside her. No battery, no power, no record of any call placed after the one that had failed to reach security on that last night. Nothing that could explain his phone, nothing that could explain any of it. A funeral was held in the spring. Her mother came. Her mother's face was a particular kind of quiet that has nothing to do with peace, the quiet of someone who has been in grief for so long that it has simply become the atmosphere they move through. He did not approach her. He did not know what he would say or how he would begin to say it. But he stood where he could see her, and he hoped, in whatever way hoping works in situations like this, that she knew. She tried. The calls stopped the night of the funeral. He waited that first night with his phone in his hand and the screen dark. Nothing. And the next night, and the next, the silence where the calls had been was a different kind of silence than ordinary silence. He told himself it was over. She is at peace. Several months later, in the autumn, a student he had never met came to find him. She had heard he was the one who had found the girl in the communications building. Word travels at Blackwood. She sat across from him in the campus cafe and looked at him with the expression of someone who has not been sleeping, and she said, "I need to ask you something." She set her phone on the table between them. The screen showed, "Unknown caller." "It's been 3 nights," she said. "The same number, and last night I answered." She looked at him. "There's a voice." She paused. "But it's not a girl." He went still. "It sounds like a man," she said. "And it sounds—" She stopped, looked at her phone, looked back at him. "It sounds like it's asking someone to please not hang up." That's enough from me, Blackwood Insomniacs. I hope you're all in dreamland by now. This is Allie. Good night, Alex.